Hey guys, you are watching or listening to the Shift Training Podcast.
Where we talk about personal development, we talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health, and just overall well-being.
And today we're going to be talking about self-esteem and confidence. So,
shall we get started?
Yeah, what's our first question for today?
All right. First question, what's the difference between self-esteem and confidence?
Self-esteem and confidence. I think for self-esteem, when you think about holding somebody in high esteem or someone who's esteemed, you think of them in like high regard, I would say it's kind of like respect or honor or reverence, all those things. So applying that towards yourself, self-esteem is like having a high level of, or not per se high level, but your level of self-esteem is whatever level of respect, honor, and reverence you have for yourself is how I would define self-esteem. And confidence, I would say confidence is that generally, at least in this country, is how we say that outward expression of certainty. You all know, or there's a typical way that confidence looks. And I say confidence is the external portrayal of I know what I'm doing or whatever it is, or I got this. And then self-esteem is the level of internal respect, honor, or reverence.
Right. Yeah. Is how you perceive yourself, and how it's about like self-worth and self-value, right? And I think the way I think of self-esteem is like it's harder to achieve than confidence. I think for me, self-esteem is this belief in you. It comes from within, while confidence is much easier because confidence is like, all right, imagine a sport that you're good at. You feel confident, right? But sometimes, like sports athletes, you could be really good at that sport, but you are suffering in the inside. I think a great example of this is Mike Tyson. You know, he's so confident in boxing, but when he was in his prime, he was suffering from his self-esteem from the inside. He was doing drugs, relying on alcohol and all that stuff.
I think I have
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I have a different perspective on that actually.
Oh yeah.
So if we go right back to the Mike Tyson example, I would say that his confidence now is higher than it was even then because his self-esteem has improved.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it's easier. I would say the falsification or pretending of confidence, arrogance in a way, is easier to falsify. But genuine confidence, I think, is impossible without a certain level of self-esteem. Because how confident, like if we say that confidence comes from competence, right? Tom Billy says that confidence comes from competence, right? And that means that we've practiced or believe in our ability to get good. But if you don't genuinely believe in your ability to get good, you think it's fixed, right?
Yeah.
How genuinely confident can you actually be if you don't really believe in yourself?
So I would say that self-esteem is about, in a nutshell, it's embracing your imperfection as opposed to trying to be perfect. Does that make sense?
Yep, definitely. So let's jump to our next question, Vaughn.
Right.
How do you define confidence?
How do I define confidence? For me, I think the way I define confidence is not letting other people dictate my own happiness. And the way to do that is first you must define what is confident for you. Because if you don't know what your value, what is confident for you, then when people say, oh, this is what confident is, maybe that confidence is coming from ego or arrogance, then it's going to steer me away from my own happiness, from my joy, or my own fulfillment.
Is there an example for that? Like somebody's ego being attached to the wrong thing, giving them a false sense of confidence?
Yeah, it's just being right the whole time. Saying, this is confident because I'm right. I'm always right. And I think that's another way to define your confidence is you need to be always learning and always growing. Everything expand. When you stop expanding or stop getting feedback from other people, then that's when your confidence goes down.
Yeah, Tom Billy talks about that all the time where talks about he had to adjust his confidence. He had to detach that from the whole ego part of being the smartest person in the room. And when he started getting in rooms with people who were smarter than him, how it was devastating to like his ego, his confidence went down and things like that.
Yeah.
I think one of the things to be mindful of is there is this common use or common practice of, you know, confidence and ego having some relationship together. And I think that there's some very fine lines that I'll touch on later, but I really think that there's something to be said for ego and confidence being tied together and making sure that self-esteem is not tied to ego or confidence.
Interesting.
Yeah, because think about it. If your confidence is attached to your ego and your ego says, as long as I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm confident. And then when their confidence gets destroyed, if it's attached to your self-esteem, what happens to your self-esteem? Your sense of respect or even perspective of self-worth goes down the drain. So I think it's important to understand the difference and the fine line and not to have them all be attached. Although it is very common for people to have ego and confidence attached.
Yeah.
So, Vaughn, what is the process of developing confidence?
Ooh, okay. I think the way to develop confidence is first awareness. I think in everything that we do, we need to have self-awareness first. You have to be very mindful. And if you don't know, you're not aware, then what is there to fix, right? So I think the second one is, if you are someone who is suffering from negative self-talk, you're talking down to yourself, then you need to have that interrupted. As Tom Bilyeu said, pattern interrupt. If you're talking to yourself, interrupt that and replace it to something positive. And I think the third one is just, it's not enough of just knowing it. I think you need to apply it. You need to correct those, bad habits or bad behaviors, so that way you don't remain the same.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's a good way. I like the pattern interrupt. I actually have a little side note on pattern interrupt. So for pattern interrupt, I don't think pattern interrupt. I think pattern disrupt.
Disrupt?
Yeah, I think disrupt. And the reason why is because interrupt will be like, excuse me, I hate to interrupt you, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like, excuse me, I hate to interrupt you, super negative voice that's telling me bad things and destroying, how I view my life. Like, no.
Screw that.
Shove that dude. Shut up. This is what we're doing. Go.
Silencio Bruno.
Yeah, Silencio Bruno. Send the energy that you're feeling in a completely different direction, if by force, if necessary. But disrupt that. Like, we're not letting that continue.
I agree.
We're not going to have a nice civil discussion with it sometimes. When you get to the point where you can really sit and have the discussion like that and still choose otherwise, great. But in the beginning, when it's happening and you need to just shock that, you need to have a different biological response, you got to pretend like, imagine that person is speaking to you and the one that you want to hear from just shoves that person and says, shut up. And you just keep moving.
Yeah, I think by just knowing that.
But you need awareness for that, right?
Yeah, that concept, you'll be ahead of the game because not many people are aware with that kind of stuff that they talk about.
Right. So. The spiral. All right, well, so how do we cultivate confidence on a physical, mental, and emotional level?
How do we cultivate our confidence on a physical, emotional, and mental level? I think we need to start by accumulating small wins.
Okay. What are some examples for those of physical small wins, mental small wins, and emotional small wins?
So let's start with that topic first, because I believe everything starts from something small, like a marathon runner, and they start from a mile and they build it up from there. So I think for physical level, I think you need to work on your body language. Their study shows that 93% of your communication comes from your body language, and 7% of that is just your words. So you need to work on maybe your posture, your tonality, the way you speak with people. And not many people that if you work on your body language, it could influence your mind. If you just have this good posture, shoulders back, chin parallel to the floor, it influences your mind to be also confident instead of just having slouch back, always looking down, not making eye contact. That could, hurt your confidence. I think with the emotional and mental confidence level is, I think you have to define, you need to know what are your values. As we mentioned earlier, you need to know what are they. Otherwise, if you don't know your value, then you start to get influenced by other people's value that you don't value. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think once you define that, you'll have more clarity for yourself, awareness. Then you start to know, your confidence is not a wrap around on this XYZ. You already define it. My value is resilient. I'm not going to give up over here because one of my values is resilient. So even if I get rejected 100 times on my job, that one thing, if I get hired, that's being resilient. That will increase my confidence.
Okay. And then what else? What's the last one?
I thought I kind of...
For emotional and mental?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the same?
Yeah, the same for me.
So here's what I would say for that. For physical, like if you were talking about collecting small wins, I would say the body language is one thing because your body language alters, yes, how you communicate, but also how you are perceiving or reading yourself, like how you're communicating to yourself. But I think there's a difference between like posturing and just bravado, which is ego fulfilling confidence.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between I know that I am competent, so I step as if I am competent. And that is where I would say there's confidence there versus I am presenting this, I think I can, or sure I can, with no competence to prove that I can. That's called arrogance. And that's kind of like where you're trying to portray trying to portray confidence to feed the ego.
I see.
Instead of actually being genuinely confident. So I would say be mindful of that because that's really nuanced. Are you posturing or are you communicating that, no, I know this stuff for sure versus like, I don't know, but I'm going to pretend like I know. That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then for physical, I would say, body language, but an easy way to rack up physical wins is work out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, and mental too. If you want to build up your sense of confidence or competence in terms of mental ability, why don't you study something, learn something, read something, whatever, and apply it? See that you prove to yourself that you can learn and do. Learn and do. How about this? Say you're going to do something, learn about it, do it. Let's say you're going to learn a little bit more about fitness or nutrition, right? You learn a little bit more about it, you start applying it, and then you're doing your workouts, you're eating good. Well, that's your mental and physical. And at the same time, you're getting emotional because you're starting to see, okay, when I'm having a hard time with something, how do I navigate it? I would say to build up the emotional reps is when you start struggling with something, learning how to deal with it in a more positive or healthy way, learning how to train new responses to triggers or difficult situations. I think that's one way to really build up your confidence in your ability to navigate things emotionally. If you want to build up emotional resilience or emotional agility, you have to be able to show up for the tough things and be able to guide yourself out of it. At which point, things that might be tough emotionally don't really intimidate you or scare you anymore because you now have you've proven to yourself that you are competent at navigating the unknown, and therefore you will show up confidently versus presenting confidence to satisfy our future ego.
Right.
So I would say, I think those are ways to do that. It's in the daily work that we cultivate confidence.
Right. Yeah. So it's that daily abnormal that we do in a day, like that's going to start building our confidence, that courage. Yeah. Doing something that's uncomfortable.
Courage. I think courage is a good word for that. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is the role of confidence, and does it deserve more attention than self-esteem?
Oh, this is a good one. It's one of my favorite things. We put a lot of emphasis on confidence. Like even most of our questions today were about confidence. But in reality, I don't think we should spend that much time on confidence. I think it should be more time spent on self-esteem because self-esteem is connected to self-worth and your sense of self-value. So for example, if you're going to go, if you're going to go do anything that's difficult, like for example, if you're going to go like squat 350 pounds or bench, whatever crazy number, like you're just going to go do something that is really, really hard for you. What is the likelihood that you take the first step if you don't even believe it's possible?
Not Not a high chance.
Not a high chance. So you might even have to pretend, you might have to tap into ego or be arrogant just to give yourself a false sense of hope based on pretty much nothing, which may result in failure anyway. Destroy that completely, and then you feel even more some type of way. So it's a bad recipe. And the reason why I use that analogy is because self-esteem is relevant to credit you have with yourself, self-worth,
the process, right?
self-belief. These are the things that say, I can. Confidence is, I have done. Arrogance is, I have no proof, but sure I can.
Right. Yeah.
There's a difference. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying, I believe that all things are possible. Yes, believe things are possible, but possibility is one factor. What's the probability? Confidence is very aware of probability. Genuine confidence says, oh, I've kicked this, I've beaten this kind of thing like 9 out of 10 times. I'm pretty confident. It's highly probable that I'm going to do it again.
It's the result that comes from the experience. I see.
Yeah, highly probable. But if it's like, man, I don't care what the odds are. You know what I'm saying? There's like a 1 in like 1,000th chance that I might actually be able to do this thing that I've never done before. But by some miracle, because I'm me, I'm definitely going to do it.
Yeah, so that's the reason why people said when it comes to confidence, they said that it's your ability to believe in yourself, because it also comes from their own experience, their belief in their ideas, their capabilities. While
I would say there's a nuance to that.
Yeah.
It's believing in it because of what? Like Tom Brady talks about competence. We only get competent at things by doing, right? By doing.
Yeah.
It is the doing that verifies our belief.
Right.
So our belief becomes stronger once it's been verified, just like any confirmation bias of any kind. If we see evidence for what we believe consistently, we become more confident in it. We act like it's true. So if you have no tangible thing, no proof to validate your belief, it's hard.
It's hard to,
Yeah, it's hard to be confident if you've got nothing saying, verifying it.
Yeah.
So self-esteem, the self-esteem part, seeing yourself in high regard, you earn that credit with yourself, believing you're worthy, believing you deserve stuff, believing you can move forward kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the I can. But I can only goes as far as I can. It does not translate into actual confidence until you take the I can seed and till the soil with your labor, water yourself with the water, and actually continue to do so until fruit sprouts. The tree sprouting is the confidence, and it's not even the fruit. It's just that's just the branches, not even the leaves, just the branches.
Yeah. So self-esteem is like I am, while confidence is I can.
I have.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Not even I can. It's I have. I believe and I can is at the self-esteem, self-worth, self-value level. It's at that part. It's the start right in there. And confidence is the I can because I have. There's some evidence that shows that I can. And even if it's not even just in your own life, maybe you've seen it in someone else's life that's pretty parallel.
Yeah.
You go, okay, the probability is there's a lot of alignment here. The probability is pretty high. I believe in this. I'm going to test this theory. Then you step into it. After you step into it, think about it, more confidence. Think about it like this. I'll use another example. Vaughn and I, for those who don't know, we do bachata and salsa dancing.
I was thinking about that example right now.
Yeah, so let's think about that example. When do you feel more confident, going into class or after class? In class.
Both.
Oh, okay. But not before. Or do you go into class and like all of a sudden you're less confident?
Nah, I feel confident in class because it's a choreography and someone is teaching us what to do.
Right.
But when it comes to social, there's a little bit of a pressure in there because you're going to have to freestyle, improv.
Right. And then, but after you do it, do you feel more confident?
Yeah. Because I face my fear.
That's right. More confident because you just gained proof that you could.
Yeah.
Whereas before you were thinking, I'm not sure if I can.
Yeah. So that's
the difference. So I think that's where true confidence lies. If we were to say true confidence, I think that's where that lies. It's in the proof that you can, or you've seen evidence of high probability through action.
So another way I'm thinking about this self-esteem and confidence is that the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation.
100%.
So you need to have at least 70 to 80% intrinsic motivation than extrinsic, because extrinsic motivation could be validation from somebody or money, fame. That could also give you motivation, but the intrinsic part, it's what's more important, because that's the part where you're gonna feel more fulfilled, more joy, and more meaning in your life.
Instead of expecting that internal connection to come from outside, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
you know, it flows the other way, not this way. You can definitely be influenced by stuff, and the cycle go that way. But if you're trying to really get to the root or the core of your being and draw from that, you can't do it from the outside. It doesn't work that way. There's too many defense mechanisms and barriers and things like that in the way. And again, this is why I go back to the question, which is self-esteem and confidence. Like, does confidence deserve more attention than self-esteem? And I say no, because we put so much emphasis on must appear, be confident. By being confident, the confidence gets me the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. How do you even get confident? You have to have enough self-esteem. You have to have enough sense of self-worth, or just believe in yourself to even step into the arena. You have to believe it's possible that you can step into the arena and go in. Not because you go, oh, I'll definitely win, but because somewhere in there you believe, hey, I know myself to not quit. I know that I can learn. I believe in those things. So even if I go in all confident and I lose, I learn something, I come back and I apply it. Now, after I apply it, I learned something new. I got a little bit better result. Now I'm a little bit more confident. And that's how you actually build it. No one ever talks about the work. Like, we talk about it all the time. It'd be like, oh yeah, Kobe this or whatever, the greatest. Y'all not thinking about the type of work that goes into actually having that. The person who seems to have that skill or that innate ability, you have no idea how many times they practiced, how many times they took L's, how many times they learned, you know?
Yeah. So it's the hard work, behind the curtain that they're doing.
100%. And that's the key to building confidence. But you have to have that self-esteem first. You need to work on that.
That belief in yourself.
And by continuing to take those actions, it feeds your self-esteem. But you want to feed your self-esteem and not feed your ego. And when you focus on confidence and the external first, like, I'm going to act like I'm confident and then I'll do this and that makes me feel good or whatever. It kind of feeds your ego. It feeds your sense of security or safety by getting this external validation telling you that you're something, while internally you still don't believe you're the ish. Which
once you start doing that too, when you start focusing on the external stuff like being confident or blah, 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 it come across in genuine too, you know, like, oh, is he acting that way? Because it doesn't seem like he is this way, you know?
100%, everyone can tell.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for self-esteem and confidence. I feel like we hit everything on the head pretty good. What do you think?
So too. I believe that. And that's it.
All right.
Well, there's more, but
we're going to wrap it up today.
All right. If you haven't subscribed on our channel, please subscribe. Shift Training on our YouTube and our podcast. And don't forget our social media, Shift on Your Life, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Ooh. All right, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this content. Please share it with somebody you think that it would benefit. And we hope that it's benefited you as well. Have a fantastic day.